This truck came in with the lack of power and going into limp mode. When you repair things, don't repair them twice, like this and then down here as well. Just cut all this out. You don't need this extra 6 inches of wire, and then it just causes more issues. This could be an issue, then that could be an issue. You could have multiple fault points. Pin 1 and pin 3. Volt's good. 5-volt reference is good. And let's see if number 4 reads 0. Let's see. Right now they're reading 5 volts because it's reading the 5-volt reference, the max that it gets. When you have fuel pressure and it changes that 5-volt between 0.8 and 4.8. And depending on how high or low your fuel pressure is, what this reads. So when I short it out, when it's unplugged like this, they read 5 volts. When I short them out and I go from pin 2 to ground, it reads 0 on the scanner. So I know that the truck side of the system is working and functioning and reading the right amount. So we figured her out. It's a faulty fuel rail pressure sensor. And then we're gonna fix up this wiring so there's not 2 different splices in the harness, because this one down here is very loose on the wires. It feels like they might break if they're not really soldered together. For a proper repair, always use solder and heat shrink. So you don't have water getting in your connections, and you've always got a known good connection. The sensor is reading low. This sensor has 2 sensors in it. It's got a high and a low sensor, 1 and 2. Otherwise, they both read fuel rail pressure. Sometimes they'll read like different, and that's when you can tell that the fuel rail pressure sensor's not reading. One of them is reading higher than the other. One is reading the same as desired, they're matching, but the number 2 is reading 400 to 600 PSI lower than the number 1 sensor. And they're both built into each other, so you have to get a whole new sensor as one. All right, what's the hose for? Oh, I'm just checking to make sure there's no metal in the fuel system. Just verify, make sure no issues further on in life. But it still needs a fuel rail pressure sensor, as it's reading 200 lower, well, 200 to 300 lower than the sensor 1. Sensor 1 and 2 are both built into the same sensor, so if they're ever reading different, you know the sensor internally is damaged. Now, do you want to start this thing up for me, Megatron?
Fine.
I take a glass bottle, I spray it out with brake clean, and then I use compressed air to get all the moisture and everything else out of it. So then I've got a clean, clear bottle I can see right through in case there's any metal or any debris. It's like just air. Nothing settling on the bottom. We'll let it settle for 10-20 minutes, I think, but it looks pretty clean, looks pretty crystal. It's good to just verify that you don't have contaminated fuel, dirty fuel, because that can lead to a lot of issues on its own. Depends on what they've got in it, what they're running in it. They might be adding an additive in it that might not like the system. Like, there's tons of different things. So this is the fuel rail pressure sensor. Sometimes you see metal on here around the edges or in the sensor internally, but I'm not seeing any today. Usually what binds these up is metal or debris internally, but there's a little bit of rust on it, so it might have had some water go through the fuel system at one point. Yeah, it's just surface rust, so it's not, I think it's a lot of water. So just replaced the fuel rail pressure sensor. It was reading 300 to 400 to 600 between the 2 sensors, because there's an internal 2 sensors in here. There's a sensor A and a sensor B. When they don't read together, it's most likely the sensor that's not reading correctly or one of them sticking. Put a new one in. Now the truck at idle is reading 80 to 100 PSI difference between the 2, which is a lot better, which is what we want to see. Pretty much ready to go back on the road. Just have to do my final check over and test drive, make sure